Gospel powerhouse Leandria Johnson has had enough, and she's finally naming names. In a no-holds-barred confession, she calls out Pastor Brian Carn, labeling him a fraud and a manipulator. What she reveals will shake the gospel community to its core. You think you've heard it all? Trust me, you haven't. Stay tuned, because the receipts are wild and the truth is louder than the pulpit. It's one thing for rumors to swirl in church circles. It's another when a gospel giant finally breaks her silence and drops truth bombs that nobody saw coming. Leandria Johnson, known not just for her powerhouse vocals but for her raw honesty and no-filter approach, is calling out Pastor Brian Carn by name, and she's not holding anything back. In a recent interview that's now going viral, Leandria exposes what she calls a pattern of deception, manipulation, and spiritual control, and she's got the receipts to prove it. From alleged false prophecies to questionable financial dealings and private conversations that are now public knowledge, Leandria is ready to risk it all to reveal the truth she says has been silenced in church for far too long. But here's where it gets deeper. This isn't just about Brian Carn. This is about the entire system that protects leaders like him. It's about people getting hurt behind closed doors while the choir sings louder on Sunday. In this video, we're unpacking what exactly Leandria said and why she chose now to speak out, the explosive backstory between her and Pastor Carn, what other insiders and former members are now revealing, and why this could be the beginning of the end for one of the gospel world's most controversial figures. Buckle up, because what you're about to hear will shake every platform he stands on. You won't believe what was secretly recorded, and it's coming up in just a moment. It all started with what looked like just another podcast appearance, raw, unfiltered, and honest. Leandria Johnson, never one to sugarcoat anything, was invited to speak on a platform that gave her full space to vent. But no one expected her to call out Pastor Brian Carn by name, and then go even further. From the moment the mic turned on, Leandria's tone was different. This wasn't her typical tearful confession about personal struggle or addiction. This was controlled fire, the kind of righteous anger that only comes from years of being silenced, used, and watched from the sidelines as powerful men played God from the pulpit. Here's what she said, word for word, that shook the table. I don't care who gets mad. I'm not scared of none of y'all. Brian Carn is full of BS. He plays with people's emotions. He manipulates weak-minded folks with theatrics, and he does it in the name of God. The host sat in stunned silence, and so did the audience. Within hours, that clip had already gone viral, but it didn't stop there. Leandria went on to describe her own personal experiences, moments when Pastor Carn allegedly used spiritual manipulation to keep people under his thumb. She said he would pull people aside, prophesy in private, and use what God told him as a tool to control decisions, relationships, and even finances. She detailed a disturbing pattern that many in the gospel community have long whispered about, but never dared to say aloud. Leandria laid it bare. He'll tell you what your future husband looks like, tell you what job to quit, and the next thing you know, you're sitting broke in your apartment wondering what happened, and he's flying first class to the next event. Leandria also called out what she described as a toxic environment behind closed doors, the ego, the fear culture, the manipulation of prophecy, all used to elevate one man's power while dismissing the pain of everyone else around him. What made this moment so powerful was that Leandria wasn't bitter. She was bold. She didn't appear angry out of revenge. She sounded like someone finally telling the truth after carrying a heavy weight for far too long. And fans could feel that. The comments flooded in. She's not lying. I've seen it. Brian Carn been moving like this for years. Finally, someone with a name said it. Leandria is risking everything to tell this truth. That's courage. But here's the cliffhanger. Leandria says she's not the only one with receipts, and she hinted that others are about to come forward. That's right. This might only be the beginning of what's coming next. If you thought Leandria Johnson's explosive statements were shocking, just wait until you see the trail of chaos Pastor Brian Carn has left behind over the years. Because the truth is, this isn't the first time his name has been tangled in controversy. In fact, for over a decade, Brian Carn has been the subject of numerous allegations, from plagiarized prophecies and fake healings to romantic scandals, financial abuse, and even leaked recordings that shook the entire gospel circuit. So let's take it back, because if we're going to understand why Leandria Johnson spoke up, we have to follow the pattern. 2016, the prophecy plagiarism scandal. In one of the earliest and most public controversies, Brian Carn was caught copying entire prophecies word for word from a known psychic named Prophet Yahweh, a self-proclaimed spiritualist with no Christian affiliations. A YouTube user uploaded a side-by-side video comparing Carn's prophecy to Prophet Yahweh's older statement, and the similarities were undeniable. Carn's team tried to explain it away as coincidence, but the damage was done. You're telling me the man of God is quoting a man of spirits? Nah, something ain't right. That video has since racked up hundreds of thousands of views, and to this day, Carn has never directly addressed it. 2019, the secret baby allegations. Then came the whispers about a child born outside of wedlock. Allegedly, Pastor Carn fathered a baby with a member of his congregation, a claim that he neither confirmed nor denied publicly, despite multiple former church members saying the story was an open secret within the ministry. The woman involved reportedly received a blessing package and quietly disappeared from the public eye. No press conference, no clarification, no accountability. 2021, leaked audio, playing the saints. In a moment that many believe sealed Carn's reputation, an audio clip surfaced online where a man, allegedly Carn, is heard bragging about manipulating his congregation for financial gain. These people will sow if you make them feel like they got a word. You just got to work the room. The clip went viral. Church leaders tried to dismiss it as doctored audio, but again, no lawsuit was ever filed. No one was sued for defamation, and that silence said more than any denial ever could. 2023, private DMs go public. In what many consider the most embarrassing moment yet, leaked DMs allegedly from Pastor Carn showed flirtatious messages sent to multiple female followers, some even suggesting spiritual rewards tied to personal favors. Screenshots appeared across social media, including Instagram and X, formerly Twitter, sparking outrage and calls for his resignation. But instead of stepping down, Carn doubled down, preaching harder, prophesying louder, and claiming he was being attacked for his anointing. This, folks, is the pattern. Each time a scandal surfaces, Carn sidesteps, spins, or spiritualizes the situation until the noise dies down. But this time, with Leandria Johnson speaking out publicly, the noise isn't going away. And here's the kicker. After Leandria's statement went viral, at least 3 other gospel artists have hinted that they too were mistreated, manipulated, or spiritually abused, and are now contemplating going public. We may be on the verge of a full-scale reckoning in the Black church, and Brian Carn may no longer be able to preach his way out of it. Leandria Johnson didn't just spark a controversy, she sparked a spiritual civil war. And the gospel world is now caught in a firestorm of opinions, silence, and deep-rooted fear. When she exposed Pastor Brian Carn as full BS and accused him of manipulation and control, many expected immediate, decisive responses from church leaders, fellow pastors, and gospel influencers. But what happened instead? A split. And this split is exposing something deeper than Brian Carn. It's exposing a church culture that's been built on silence, loyalty to power, and fear of backlash. Let's break it down. The Protect the Prophet camp. There's a segment of the church community that immediately rushed to Carn's defense. Some prominent bishops and pastors released statements, either vague or carefully worded, suggesting that attacks against anointed men of God are a sign of the times or evidence of the devil at work. One bishop even posted this on Instagram. God's chosen vessels will always be persecuted. Don't believe the noise. Stay focused on the anointing. To many, that post read like a direct dismissal of Leandria's testimony, as if her words were just noise. Others in this camp leaned on cancellation fatigue, saying things like, if we canceled every pastor who made a mistake, there'd be no one left. But here's where it gets dangerous. This isn't just about mistakes. These are patterned abuses, backed by evidence and testimonies. And the more the church protects the title instead of investigating the behavior, the more victims stay silent. The Believe Leandria movement. On the other side, a groundswell of voices, especially younger gospel artists, former church members, and digital faith leaders, began to rally behind Leandria. They started using hashtags like #church accountability, now we believe Leandria, expose the platform. People began sharing their own stories of spiritual abuse, not just from Brian Carn, but from other leaders protected by systems of silence and status. This moment has now turned into a cultural reckoning. Even notable gospel names like Kiki Wyatt, Tasha Page Lockhart, and Jessica Reedy have quietly liked or reposted content supporting Leandria's call-out. Some have even unfollowed Brian Carn on social media, subtle but loud in a world where those moves speak volumes. More shocking still, a leaked group chat from a circle of popular worship leaders was posted online, where several singers discuss pulling out of future events involving Carn and refusing to share stages with him. One line from that chat, "It's not about drama. It's about protecting our peace. We've seen what he does behind closed doors." That line alone sent shockwaves, and fans started speculating about how many more receipts are being sat on right now. The deafening silence. And then there's the third group, those who say nothing at all. Some of the most influential gospel pastors and Christian media outlets have gone completely silent on the matter. No posts, no sermons, no interviews. It's as if they're waiting to see which way the public winds blow before picking a side. But that silence, it speaks volumes. It sends a chilling message to victims of church abuse everywhere. You're only protected if your abuser isn't famous, and fans are noticing. More and more viewers are flooding gospel comment sections, asking the hard questions. Why isn't insert gospel network covering this? Where is the leadership when women are being spiritually manipulated? Why is Leandria being left to fight this battle alone? The longer the silence lasts, the louder the backlash grows. You can only dodge accountability for so long. For years, Pastor Brian Carn has operated as one of the most influential and controversial prophetic voices in the Black church. But after Leandria Johnson's bold takedown went viral, his once untouchable platform is now starting to crumble under the pressure of truth, exposure, and public exhaustion. Let's break it down, because the receipts are starting to hit where it hurts: the pulpit, the pockets, and the public trust. 1. Canceled engagements and quiet pullouts. Almost immediately after Leandria's video gained traction, reports started trickling in about churches and ministries quietly backing out of scheduled appearances with Brian Carn. Sources from 2 mid-sized churches in Georgia and Texas confirmed to gospel blogs that Carn was no longer on the roster for their summer revivals. One booking agent anonymously told reporters, "Some pastors don't want the heat. They don't want to explain to their congregations why they're inviting someone being accused of manipulation and abuse." Even more telling, 2 women-led conferences, events that typically draw large female audiences, dropped Carn's name from their flyers without any explanation. And although no official statement was made, fans in the comments were quick to connect the dots. 2. Financial fallout is looming. When controversy hits, donations dry up, and that's exactly what's beginning to happen within Carn's ministry network. A few weeks before Leandria's statement, Carn's website was promoting multiple prophetic seed offerings, urging followers to sow $222, $1,000, or even $5,555 for unusual favor. But now, screenshots show donation links being quietly pulled and PayPal systems flagged for irregular activity. Some insiders say Carn's cash-based events, where attendees pay at the door or during healing offerings, are seeing record low turnout. One event in Florida, promoted heavily for 2 weeks, reportedly only filled 40% of its seats. That's a massive drop for a man used to drawing crowds based solely on his prophetic word. Fans on social media are also pushing back hard on the money narrative. Under a now-deleted Instagram clip from one of Carn's sermons, a commenter wrote, "How you gonna ask me to sow $1,000 when you out here playing psychic games and living off fake prophecies?" It's clear. The trust is broken. 3. Public image in freefall. Before this scandal, Brian Carn prided himself on aesthetic perfection. Tailored suits, private jets, luxurious stages, and professional branding. His social media was polished, powerful, and packed with motivational snippets. But now, the vibe is different. People are calling him out directly in the comments. Former supporters are reposting Leandria's video, tagging others to watch, and openly questioning why so many red flags were ignored for so long. Even worse, several fan pages and support groups have gone dark, with followers either demanding accountability or completely unfollowing. The brand is no longer protected. It's being picked apart, and not even his loyal fan base can stop the bleeding. 4. Legal whispers and internal conflict. Though no formal lawsuits have been filed yet, there are rumblings of women considering legal action, especially those who feel spiritually manipulated into giving money, services, or emotional loyalty under false pretenses. A former member of one of Carn's satellite churches posted anonymously on a gospel forum, "We were afraid to question him. He made it sound like questioning him was questioning God. That's not ministry, that's mind control." Some close associates have reportedly cut ties, choosing to protect their own ministries and reputations. One small church pastor tweeted, then deleted, "The people need Jesus, not this celebrity witchcraft." Carn may still have a platform, but it's clear his grip on the prophetic scene is slipping fast, and this scandal may be the domino that finally knocks down the entire tower.